Hey everyone, welcome to English with a Twist, Wednesdays with EWAT. This is your business English coach, Shanti Kumaraswamy Street. How's everyone doing? I've missed you. I wasn't here last week, so we're back 15th of November, just in case I thought I'd remind you what day it is. Wednesday, and we are here for lesson 44 of Wednesdays with EWAT. Hi Willen, nice to meet you. Please let me know who you are, where you're from, because it'd be great to see everyone joining in to this class. So welcome. So what's everybody been doing? How's it going? And but before we go anywhere, let me remind you that this is the place to be if you want to become comfortable and confident in communication in business with your English speaking colleagues and clients. So this is the place to be. I am seeing tons of people coming in. Fantastic. John, Mylene from California. Wow, lovely. But early. Oh, no, it's not too early for you, is it? Let me see. Now, I'm going to refresh my Facebook page because I'm seeing lots of people joining and I am thrilled. And if you're new to English with a Twist, welcome. Wednesdays with EWAT has been running now for a year, and we meet up every week to talk about business English and lots of things that we can talk about, how you can communicate better in English for business. Hello, Louisa from Egypt, Celia from South Africa. Oh my goodness, there's Paula Carizzo from Chile. Jen, hi, fantastic, lovely to see you from Malaysia. John Sarawet, how are you? I'm very well. How about you? Roselle from Philippines. Elizabeth from Hungary. I hope I'm pronouncing your names correctly. I do apologize. Berside from Philippines. Okay. I just missed one. Tree from Thailand. Athens. Albina from Samara in Russia. Catherine from the Philippines. Lots of people from the Philippines today. I'm looking at everyone as they're scrolling in. This is so wonderful. Welcome. Hello, Italy. Hello, Gabriela from Buenos Aires. I am thrilled. Wow, this is looking fantastic. New people joining. Wonderful. Welcome. And I am Shanti Kumaraswamy Street, in case you didn't know. So what are we going to be looking at here today? Today we're going to be talking about business and war. Exactly why, I will tell you in just a moment. But please keep coming in. Hello, Romania, Philippines again. Oh, I'm glad you like my accent. Thank you. Hello, hi, nice to see you again. Okay, so the topic again, let me remind you, today we're going to be looking at the connection between business and war, the military. We're going to be looking at the language that we often find in business English, which has got a lot of connection with war. So here we go. Oh, Emad, and you're in a war-torn country, Yemen. Yes, I'm always following the news there, and so it will be a bit appropriate for you today's class in a more unfortunate way. Really, I don't want to make it out. Yeah, so the live videos are working for you. Try rebooting, try starting again. Kristen, hi, lovely to see you from Egypt. I think we've been in touch on emails. Right, let's get cracking, people. Now, before I'm going to start, I'm going to remind you, if you have not joined English with a Twist, the community on my website, then I would strongly urge you to do so, because not only do you get access to Wednesdays with EWAT, you will get my regular weekly lessons, my audio blogs every Friday, and also access to my YouTube library of business idiom videos, 1-minute business idiom videos, and plus a free e-guide. So you I urge you to join the EWAT community. It is a fast-growing community of like-minded professionals looking to improve and become successful communicators in English for business. I will share the link with you at the end of this lesson, and so Please do join, sign up, join, it's free, and you get plenty of bonuses. Now, talking about programs and resources and what I'm doing, I'm also extremely happy. This week I've been very, very busy because I have just launched a brand new smart online program, small group online program called Business Writing to Fluency Lab. It's really open only for my EWAT subscribers. So if you have not yet subscribed, don't wait, join it because it's not available for everyone. And it's a small group, maximum of 10 people, where I will be coaching you through becoming fluent communicators when speaking on a business topic. And how we're going to do that is using business writing, where you have the time to structure your message to then present it in a business topic. And it is a members only forum, and I now have so I have maximum of 10 people who can participate in this group, and I've already got 7 joined. I've got 3 spots left. So if you are an EWAT subscriber, you probably have seen the emails I've been sending you this week. Don't delay, because registration closes on Friday, this Friday, the 17th of November, exactly at midnight GMT. And so, don't delay, because it will be your opportunity to get personalized coaching from me, because you'll be part of this members only forum. And in fact, it's wonderful because people who so far have joined it, they've been communicating with each other, and they're like-minded professionals. So don't forget, I'll add the link, but only to you EWAT subscribers. So join, and you will then see what I'm talking about. So don't hesitate, and don't hesitate to ask me more questions. But do join EWAT, okay? I do urge you to do that. Right, what are we talking about? What are we talking about today? Today we're going to talk about, as I mentioned, we're going to be looking at the link between business and war. In particular, the military, in particular the army, the navy, the world of the military. Now, why do I say that? Why have I brought this up today? And it's and what triggered me to think about this was last week. The reason why I wasn't here for our lesson was because I went to Malta on a conference, a business English teachers conference, and on the lovely island of Malta. Now, I don't know whether you know much about Malta. Malta is just south of Italy, and it's sort of very close to North Africa. And Malta has a fantastic, incredible history. It is so, so fascinating. It dates back from centuries and centuries, thousands of years BC. But in this century, in the 20th century, Malta, has always been a very strategic position, has a strategic place in the Mediterranean. So for many centuries, many people were very interested in Malta. You had the Romans, you had the Normans, you had the Ottoman Empire, Napoleon was interested in Malta, and then more latterly in the last 250 years, the British colonized Malta. So consequently, Malta had a lot of influences. And visiting the island was fascinating because they have, they have fantastic walled cities, medinas, because Maltese is a mixture of Arabic, Italian, and English. It's a fascinating language. And when I was exploring the island in between, attending the conference, I was also looking at the history. And now, during the Second World War, Malta was the Maltese were incredibly brave at fighting the Nazis, because of course Hitler was very, very interested in Malta because, as I say, of its strategic position in the Mediterranean. And the Maltese people fought incredibly bravely against the Nazis. In fact, so brave were they that George the Sixth, I beg your pardon, of Britain, of the UK, gave them the highest award to civilians that can be given, which is the St. George's Cross, to the people of Malta for their bravery during the Second World War and for protecting the island. And so consequently, reading all about this history, visiting the island, I was thinking about this week's lesson and I thought, you know what, I would love to share with you how much we have in common in the business world with the world of the military. In fact, if you look, and I wrote a post about this and I'll share this with you in the show notes after this lesson, there are so many words we have in business English that relate to war or, you know, the act of war. Because what is business all about? Business is about, you know, competing with other people. It's having a slice of market share, is being able to win over the competition. So there is a lot of similarities between the military and business. So I thought I'd share this sort of language with you, and also some idioms and metaphorical phrases we use in business, which you will very, very often see if you read business business articles and you know, business books. Okay, are we all good to go? Are we all ready? Great. That's my introduction to this class, lesson 44. All right, let's go with it. Now, as I mentioned, there are a lot of words you will see between that. Yes, so would the common thread between business and military have anything to do with strategy and tactics? Fantastic, RJ. Yes, RJ, absolutely. Very good. Like it. Exactly. So it's the words that we use. So let's think about, first of all, RJ has just come up with two fantastic words which I was going to share with you, which is strategy and tactics. If you think about the military, they have a strategy. You have a military strategy. In business, we're going to have a strategy. It's always good to have a strategy. And you're also going to have tactics. Tactics are what? Are your procedures, are your steps you're going to take to achieve that strategy. But let's look at some verbs you will see in business that come from the military. For example, we have attack. We need to attack the opposition. You know, we have that, often we see that. Then we have things like we need to defend our position in the market. So, you know, imagine here we are with military, you're defending your position. Yeah, so we build our position in business and then we need to defend it. Things like we need to capture a bigger part of the market. We need to capture a larger slice of the market. Again, capture, very much the military. Can you think of other verbs that have a military context that you have seen in business? I'd love you to share that with me in the chat box, please. I'm going to refresh here on the Facebook page on my desktop. Mubarak, yes, tackle. You're going to tackle the opposition. Tackling. That is also to do sometimes with contact sport. You know, you're tackling your opponent. So you're going to tackle them. Crystal, buy-in. I'm wondering whether buy-in, we don't buy in necessarily in the military. I like how you're thinking, but perhaps not. We're not buying. We're very much, you know, you're fighting against an enemy. So, you know, so you just think you're not buying that enemy. You're going to be tackling them. Negotiations, I'm not so sure whether you negotiate with the enemy. Do we negotiate with the enemy in military terms? Maybe. I've not really seen that, how the army negotiates. Target, absolutely. So you're going to target a particular vanquish, like the word vanquish. It's quite an old word, but yes. Oh, demolish. Okay, RJ, you're getting very seize, yes, spelled S-E-I-Z-E, Mubarak, not A-I-Z-E. Yeah, to seize territory. Yes, so you're going to, in business, how would you use that? You're going to seize market share from your opposition. So you're using that language metaphorically in business. I'm just scrolling. I thank you. I'm loving all your contributions. That's wonderful. So let's have a look here. Great. Then another word we can be looking at, reinforcing your message. So we often in the military, you're going to reinforce your position, reinforce the area you're in. So often we talk about in business where you need to reinforce your message to your audience, to your customers. So, nice language there. You can attack, you can defend, capture, reinforce, tackle, target, invade a market. We could invade a market, yes. Maybe there's a particular. I'd love to see what example you'd use. Maybe when we talk about a particular area, sector has invaded this particular market, and you think it's just too much. We need to stop them because there's not enough competition. Fabulous, love it. Yeah, guys, you're getting. You can see how many words in the military we have adopted in business, because it's similar, isn't it? It's defending your position. You are fighting in a world of competitors, and you need to win that battle. Imagine you're taking, when we talk about mergers and acquisitions, Mubarak, control. You need to control your sales figures. You need to control your suppliers. You need to control, I don't know, your strategy. Maybe not such a good collocation, but that's what, yeah, great. Study, interesting. Study could be maybe studying your tactics, studying your enemy, thinking very clever and evaluating. Very nice, liking. I love that. Thank you. That's wonderful. So RJ mentioned strategy. So businesses have to have strategy. They have to think strategically. So, are you thinking strategically? Are you thinking in a way that is going to follow a particular strategy? Are you being clever about it? You need to win the battle. So as I mentioned, when we talk about mergers and acquisitions, now, for example, when we merge, two companies merge. But when we have, for example, a takeover, sometimes takeovers can be friendly, but they can also be hostile. So there's a hostile takeover and there's a takeover battle. Again, we're using metaphorical language coming from the military that gives you that picture, that image of the fact that there's one company trying to take over another company, and that other company is resisting the takeover. We have seen that. What examples can you think of in your own country, in your own business world, where there have been takeover battles that have been fought really, really hard, by the company that is being taken over? So, hi Jeannie, hi Giovanni, lovely for you to join the lesson. I'm so glad you're watching. Welcome to English with a Twist and Wednesdays with EWAT. So, great language here. And also, the company that's going to be taken over will be on the defensive. And also, often companies who go on the defensive, perhaps they don't think strategically. Maybe they make mistakes, they make false moves. And again, the moves that you're making are very much to do with the military. You're moving into one area that could be a mistake or that might not be a mistake. So I love the whole imagery, because you can just imagine what it's like. The business world is tough, and it is like being at war. Chavi, hi, nice to see you. Hi, Giovanni. Okay, so lots of language there, and a lot of you have come up with some fantastic alternatives which I hadn't thought about. So lovely. Now I want to share with you some idiomatic, not always idiomatic, but also phrases that we use, common phrases that you will see used in business language that come from the military. So I have here 10 today. I want to share with you. You good to go? We all ready? Are you all tuned in? Great. Now, don't worry if you haven't got pen and paper and you're not writing all this down. Don't worry. I will have a copy of the post that I wrote about it, and then you can see this. Yes, Chavi, I'm here every Wednesday, 3 p.m. GMT. So join us, okay? So we are lesson 44 here. Yeah, join the wonderful world of EWAT and my wonderful community. Okay, the first idiom, the first phrase that you're likely to hear is to take the flak. And I'm going to write this down because some of you might not have seen this, but we often hear it. And now, with all idioms, I want to say to you, you don't have to use them. You know, don't feel obliged that I've got to use my idioms all the time. No. Idioms are useful for you because if you are talking about, if you are dealing with business clients in English, particularly with native speakers, then you are likely to hear that. Or you might read it in journalistic literature. So here we are. RJ is saying, do you think you run the risk of being understood if you used metaphorical language in your business writing? That's an interesting question. I would say, just to stop here, it depends on who your audience is, RJ. This is another thing that I'm talking about in my program, Business Writing to Fluency, which is exactly that. Always think of your audience. Who are you writing to? If you think your audience is going to understand what you're referring to, then by all means add metaphorical language. But yes, it all depends on that. Chavi, are you talking about my business writing to fluency group? You need to be part of the EWAT team. So you need to subscribe because it's only open to EWAT subscribers. So join the team. I'll put the link later. Okay, let's see. Now, as I said, I'm going to put the first idiom, which is take the flak. We need to take the flak. Now, just one word, the flak, just to explain to you the flak. The flak in military terms is when bullets are being shot from the ground to aircraft above. So where you're shooting. And the flak refers to the bullets. In metaphorical terms, in business language, when we take the flak, it means taking criticism. So when you're being criticized. So when you receive strong criticism. Yeah, so imagine you have an example of a CEO. Maybe a company has done, let's take Uber. Let's take Uber's, decisions that were taken to court because they were not going to be paying. They were treating their taxi drivers as self-employed. So they were not going to give them the benefits as employees. So they were taken to court. Now, Uber took a lot of flack from many people, the media and also on social media. So they had a lot of strong criticism. So when you take the flack, sometimes in business, we often say, if you're going to succeed, if you're going to survive in business, you need to be strong enough to take the flak, to take strong criticism. Make a note of this idiom and, perhaps next time you're reading, have a look if it appears in anything you're reading or you hear when you're listening to a business podcast or anything like that. Because, then you can tick it. At least you're aware of that idiom. So the first idiom is take the flak. So as receiving strong criticism. Number 2, the next idiom is to set your sights on. So let's have a look. Set your sights on. Chavi, I'm going to share that link later with you, okay? So if you're still listening to this class, I will have it. But if you want to join the EWAT community, it's just englishwithatwist.com. Just join it there. RJ, you're saying, would it be all right to say that Uber took a lot of flack from tech? So they took a lot of flack from somebody. You take a lot of flack. You take a lot of criticism from someone. So from taxi companies, because they were losing customers. Exactly. They took a lot of flack. Very good. Nice example. I like that, RJ. Excellent. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Please let me know if I am, or if I'm not, then tell me how I should. Okay, so share your sorry, excuse me. I'm now, you know what? I shouldn't do too many things at the same time. Set your sights on. So this is the next idiom. Idiom number 2 is to set your sights on. And in English, that means to target something. You set your sights on something. So imagine you've got a rifle. In military, you are setting your sight on a target. So you're targeting. Imagine in business, how are we going to do that? You set your sights on a particular market. You set your sights on a particular location, maybe where you want to build your headquarters, your head office. You're targeting a place, a position, a market, a particular customer base. Yes, you focus, you target. Great. Oh, thank you, RJ. I'm so glad I pronounced your name correctly. Yes, target, focus. Yes, target is more appropriate with military. If you imagine that's what they're doing, they're targeting. So you target. If you think about business, we need to target our audience. We need to do that. So, but when we set our sights on, you imagine you are planning your business, you're planning your strategy. So you set your sights on that. And that is your focus, very rightly, Lamia. And that is where you're going to go. I set my sights on that. And so then you would use it. Again, make a note of this idiom and have a look. Next time, if you come across it, tick it and see how it's used. And record it, because the more you see it, the more you record it, the more it will stick in your mind. Okay, number 3 is a minefield. Now, minefield literally is a field full of mines, landmines, unfortunately. Of course, in the different areas of war, we have seen a lot of minefields. Think of Rwanda, think of the ex-Yugoslavian states during the Bosnian Herzegovina, you know, those areas. There are a lot of countries where their land is filled with landmines. Now, a minefield is in metaphorical terms is to do with something that is very complicated, and it has hidden dangers and problems. So you could, for example, you know, you could be entering a particular market, or you could be entering, a new market, and it could be a minefield because it is unknown, you're not familiar with it, and there could be all sorts of dangers, and you need to be very careful about it. So, you know, it's a minefield. Or, you know, working in that area, or working with those people is a minefield. Because you imagine a minefield, it has a negative connotation, RJ, in the sense that it's not so much negative, it's more problem. Yeah, because, you know, we can overcome a problem, but it's something that is complex, complicated, with hidden dangers. So we need to be careful about what we're doing. If we're going to be, you know, capturing a certain market, or we want to enter a particular market, and it's a minefield. For example, you've entered a particular market and you want to set up your offices or your business there, and perhaps you have to deal with the legal side, you need to deal with the regulatory side, you know, and it's a minefield because it's so complicated. There's so much paperwork, there's so many rules, there is so much dare I say, corruption maybe in certain countries when you want to do business there. And so it's a minefield. So, you know, often we'll say it's a minefield. It is negative in the sense that it's full of problems, but you know, you can overcome that. So minefield, think about it from the military point of view. It is difficult. There are dangers, and you need to avoid the landmines in that. Similarly in business. So that you will see that a lot often, and not just in business. We often talk about, it's a minefield. I mean, I've just got to get through this. It's so difficult. So yes, so that is your next idiom. Idiom number 3, I think. Yes, I'm just writing. I've got my notes here and I'm just referring to them. Right, so the next one, the next idiom is to lay low. So it's a verb, to lay low. Imagine, in the military, if you are talking about the army, they need to lay low, right? I mean, if you're in the bush, if you're in anywhere, you've got to lay low. Because if you show your face, the enemy is going to shoot you. So we need to lay low. So when we lay low, in that sense, it's because we need to wait, lay low, hide ourselves before we're ready to attack. So that's your military, right? We need to go. So Mubarak is saying a situation in which there are a lot of dangers and it's difficult to make the right decision. Are we talking about laying low? Are you referring to a minefield? Let me, so just so I'm clear. But I like your thinking here. Hi Marina, hello. Lovely for you to join us. And I notice also Catherine joined the class. So you're laying low, you can imagine, right? So we're laying low, making sure we're hiding from the enemy, and we're waiting for the right time to attack. Think about it in business. What do we mean by lay low? Lay low would be perhaps we are waiting for the right time to maybe launch a product, enter a particular market, launch a new service. So you're laying low for the moment, and maybe you're waiting for the right time, waiting for the product to be ready, and that's what we say when we refer to that. And I don't know about you, but I can just, that for me, that image is very clear. Lay low, wait, and then make yourself notice, then promote yourself, then say, here we are, we're ready. So that's what that idiomatic expression means, to lay low. So I have an example which I've got in the link, so you'll have a look at how I use it. We're going to lay low for a while, and maybe, for example, you had a product launch, it didn't go very well, and you need to lay low for a while. Wait for a bit, wait, maybe hopefully the market will turn, it'll be better, there will be better demand the next time, and so you lay low, wait, and then next time relaunch the product, or maybe make changes to the product and then relaunch it. So there we go. So now idiom number 5 is to give up without a fight. So let me write that out. Give up without a fight. Not good in the military, is it, to give up without a fight? That basically means what? What's another word? What's another verb you could say when you give up without a fight? Yes, Flora, wait for the right time, the right timing. Timing is everything in business. Exactly. Yeah, good one. Give up without a fight. Another word that we use, another verb that we can use when you give up without a fight. You think, oh, really? You just gave up without a fight? Surely not. So what did you do? You surrendered. Yeah, surrender. Fantastic, RJ. We are on the same wavelength. Another idiomatic expression. Yes, you surrender. So not good to give up without a fight. And all successful businesses, in military, we can see that we want to fight. Think about the Maltese. When I was referring to you about Malta, Malta didn't give up without a fight. They fought really hard against Nazi Germany to, and defended their island. So in business, often we say, in business, many entrepreneurs, many successful business people will often say they failed many times. But we don't give up. It's easy to give up, but we don't want to give up without a fight. We need to keep going. Maybe we learn for each time and then just keep going. It's consistency. Don't give up without a fight. Yes, give up without a fight is surrendering, Gabriella. Excellent. Yes, surrender. Yeah. So let's not do that. So in business, it's good not to give up without a fight. Sometimes in business, though, you get to a point where you think, should we just give up and maybe try something new? But, you know, that's what we mean. So don't surrender at the first problem you see. So again, here's very much all this military metaphors and military imagery we're getting here. Okay, the next idiom, which we've got to idiom number 6, is to lose ground. To lose ground. So here again, we're talking about land warfare. So we're talking about the army. So when the army is out there, what you don't want is to lose ground. So you're gaining territory. If you think about in history, you know, how countries were conquered, how territory was conquered was to gain ground. So the opposite is to gain ground. But if you lose ground, then that's not good, because you are losing, you're going to be losing the battle. You're losing the war. So that's not good. Now, how do we apply that in business? What does it mean when you're losing ground in business? Because again, you're not talking about territory, not physical territory, but to lose ground in business means where you are losing an advantage. To lose an advantage, we're losing ground here. Maybe you've been very, very successful in a particular product. And, you know, there are often businesses, I'm sure you can think of examples of businesses where they were very, very successful. But let's take an example of Microsoft. For many, many years, Microsoft had a monopoly in the market, in the world of software. Then Apple came along, and Microsoft were not clever enough to notice what was going on, and they quickly started losing ground. So losing the advantage. They were losing ground over, to Apple. Nokia is an excellent example too, Crystal. Thank you. Nokia in the world of smartphone, you know, at one stage everyone had a Nokia phone. Then Apple came along, you have your iPhone, you have the smartphone, so then Samsung and Apple come along, and Nokia lost ground. They lost the advantage. They lost ground in that market. You lose the market. Exactly, you lose the advantage. Absolutely, Chavi. Yeah. It's not necessarily declining your, yes, you've lost that advantage more than it's declining. Yes, your sales will decline, but you're losing ground. You're losing market share. You're losing that advantage over your competitors. So they quickly lost ground. So in business, it's so important to always be. We have another expression here. Another idiom is to be ahead of the game. You know, you constantly have to innovate. Constantly have to keep, tweaking your products, changing, keep always one step ahead of your competitors, looking what's going on. Let me just say, RJ, you just said exactly, record companies lost ground to streaming companies for failing to innovate. RJ, you're absolutely right. And also think about, also when we talk about like Spotify and iTunes. Oh, really, iTunes too. I wasn't aware of that. Sorry, I haven't been keeping up to date on that one. But think about, for example, terrestrial television and things like Netflix and Amazon Prime. A lot of people now, they have gained ground, and people like terrestrial television are losing ground to viewers who are going on streaming. They'll go to Netflix. They'd rather binge watch a series than have to wait. And so, broadcasters have to rethink the way they attract viewers. Yeah, I mean, here, for example, in the UK, you've got the BBC. They're constantly having to rethink the way they can get their viewers in. So, you know, they introduced the iPlayer, and a lot of countries have the same. But, you know, streaming, Netflix, Amazon Prime, they're the big competitors. And, you know, that's the new way of how we want to watch our programs. Plus, they are also getting into the world of producing good programs themselves. So the film industry is also going to be competing against companies like Netflix and Amazon Prime. So again, always very, very important not to lose ground to your competitors. It's a hard world out there. Business is hard for everyone. So there you go, lose ground. I love that. Number 7, no, I don't love losing ground. I mean, I like the idiom, just in case. Okay, number 7. What is number 7's idiom? Is to be your own worst enemy. So let me write that down for you. To be your own worst enemy. Are you your own worst enemy? Blah, blah, blah. It's a bit difficult to say even for me, so I can imagine for you. To be your own worst enemy. What does it mean? So to be your own worst enemy. So think about that. So again, we have this metaphorical image. If you're going to be your worst enemy, your own worst enemy means, well, if you're going to be your own enemy, then you're not going to help yourself. You're not helping yourself. And in business, not even in business, even normally, you know, in our lives, you could cause most problems for you, perhaps because of your personality or because of your characteristics or because of your lack of experience, or maybe you're a CEO or maybe you're a manager and you are not good at delegating. To plot against yourself. Yeah, I think without even realizing, often this is where they don't realize. Take, for example, you are a team leader, you manage a team, but you are very bad at delegating tasks to your team. So what happens is that you end up doing most of the work, you end up becoming so stressed out, exhausted, and you keep missing the deadlines, you can't do it, and you know, someone will go, you know, the problem with Shanti is that she's her own worst enemy. I am causing the problems to myself. If only I would learn to delegate, then I am not, I'm not going to be as stressed as I am, as exhausted as I am. So don't be your own worst enemy. So also a company could be that way. Maybe they are refusing to innovate. They're refusing to listen to what their customers want. They're refusing to do what their shareholders want. So they become their own worst enemy. Because then what happens is maybe customers go away, they leave, they go somewhere else. Yeah, and you badly manage the business, Lamia. Yes, and a lot of people do that. You know, just think, oh, you're your own worst enemy. Why are you doing it to yourself? You're just going to lose, fail, because you're not helping yourself. You're causing most of the problems. So that's a nice expression, and you'll often see that. You know, you're like, oh, come on, help yourself. Don't be your own worst enemy. All right, okay, I'll have to rethink. And there's often, mismanagement. They make mistakes, or people try and be too over-controlling, you know, and so then they just give themselves more problems than they need to. So again, have a look, and maybe you've seen this expression in written English. Let me know if you come across it, and next time make a note of where it comes up. So don't be your own worst enemy. Give yourself a break, as we say. Help yourself. Because if you don't help yourself, nobody else is going to help you. I promise you that one. Okay, number 8. We're doing very well here, guys. I hope you're still with me. Casualties. Okay, oh, sorry. No, I've misspelled that. I do beg your pardon. That's me not typing properly. Blah, blah, properly. Okay. Not very good with my fingers. No, that's the right spelling. Casualties. Of course, in the military, in war, there are going to be casualties. One of our fellow EWATers here from the war-torn country of Yemen, there are plenty of casualties, unfortunately. Syria, we see casualties. There are always going to be casualties in war, and there are deaths, yes, and wounded, people who get injured in war. So, of course, in the military, there are casualties. The whole point, a lot of modern warfare is to limit the numbers of casualties. So, this is one of the big things. How do we put this in business? Where do casualties occur in business? Because we're not killing people, I'm hoping not, and we're not wounding them, we're not injuring them. But often you'll see casualties where do you think? I see Flores mention failure in business. Good. So where businesses fail, who are going to be your casualties? Often when businesses fail, who are going to be your casualties? Your casualties are often going to be the employees. Yeah, a company goes bankrupt. Absolutely, bankruptcy. A company goes bankrupt. And then what happens? Then the company goes bankrupt, and the first casualties you often find are going to be the workforce. The workforce who then will be made redundant, loses their job. So those are the first casualties. So that we often refer to that when we're talking about bankruptcies, we're talking about economic crisis. So that's where you would see casualties in a business. So you probably have seen that yourself. Now, number 9, the next idiom is take no prisoners. Yes, Claudia, the prisoners are, you take no, casualties is when, yes, your employees are sacked or made redundant. Take no prisoners. Okay, now, what happens in war when you take no prisoners? What do we mean by that? In war, if you're not going to take a prisoner, it means we're going to kill everyone. We're not interested in taking any prisoners. We're going to kill everyone. We're not taking prisoners. That is it. What about in business? If I'm going to take no prisoners, what do I mean? I mean I'm going to be... I am going to be merciless. Sorry, I was just pausing because I'm seeing what Lamia is saying. If a company is working for the welfare of the community, every part can be a casualty. Could you tell me more? Because I'm not too sure I quite understand that. RJ, are we talking about taking those prisoners? You become merciless? So to be merciless, when you take no prisoners, you're merciless in business. Means that, yeah, well, I'm hoping you don't sack everyone, but yes, you could. You could take drastic decisions. You have no real emotion, you know, you're just going to say, well, really, we need to shut that department down. It's not making money. That's it. Let's shut that down. Fine, that's it. No problem. Just shut that down. Okay, but sir, what about if you're going to, you know, there are going to be a lot of redundancies, you know, people are relying on us. Well, I'm sorry, but business is business. We're closing that. You know, we're not making much money in that market. Right, let's get out of that market. You're merciless. We're taking no prisoners. Can we have a positive and negative in that situation in business? Can some people who take no prisoners be positive? Can it be positive? Or is it always negative? I'm curious, what do you think? Do you have examples of where you've seen a business leader who takes no prisoners and it's been positive for the business? Sometimes it is, isn't it? Sometimes you need a strong business leader who will take a strong position and take no prisoners and decide this is what we're going to do, and we're going to do it, and we're going to be merciless. It depends on your context. Sometimes it's good to be merciless, to take no prisoners. Other times, more often than not, it's not such a great feature of being a business leader. Claudia, you're saying business is business. Yeah. But, you know, now we talk about ethical business, being more compassionate in business. So, yeah. Often when we talk about they take no prisoners means that it is more of a negative, but it all depends on context, yes. But that's what we are seeing. Wow, but isn't sometimes taking no prisoner in business could be beneficial, especially with a department that is unproductive? RJ, you're saying yes, absolutely. As I say, it is all down to context, isn't it? If a department is unproductive and has been so for many, many years, then you have to take a tough decision and take no prisoners and just say, that's it, shut it down. And that's just how it is. If you can redeploy, deploy is another word in military, your workforce in different departments, then great. If not, then redundancies have to be made. But some people can take no prisoners and be merciless in a bad way, you know, where they just don't care about who gets hurt on the way. You know, some people who are very career focused and they have one route and this is the way they're going to go. They will take those prisoners and they want to get to the top and they'll do whatever it takes to get there. And if it means taking no prisoners, they'll do it. They don't care. So it could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. You know, it depends on how you see it. Great. So yeah, when you're downsizing a business, that's what you might have to do, Mubarak. Exactly. Finally, then the last idiom we have is to make a killing. Make a killing. What are we talking about? Make a killing. To make a killing. Okay, now in business, in military terms, you don't make a killing. Well, it's not very good to do that. But when we talk about make a killing in business, it means that you make an awful lot of money. You make a lot of money. You have great financial success. And what we talk about here is often we'll see this, you'll see this when we're referring to the markets. You talk about the financial markets. Say there was, you know, I made a killing on the stock market the other day. Say the prices of, I don't know, oil, price of oil suddenly fell and you decided to take an option and you traded on that and you made a killing. I made a lot of money. Really, well done you. Yeah, I made a killing. It's fantastic. You made a lot of money on that. Oh, he made a killing in, you know, in the oil market, in the commodities market, in the currency market. For example, years and years ago, when Britain came out of the exchange rate mechanism in Europe, George Soros, who's a very, very well-respected businessman, he made a killing by betting against sterling, and he made a lot of money. So when you make a killing in business, it means you make a lot of money. Any of you made a killing recently? Made a lot of money? I hope so. A windfall. Yes, a windfall tends to be where, yeah, it's interesting because you can have a windfall, but make a killing is where you have purposely taken certain strategies and then you make that killing. So you've actually made, you've deliberately done certain things, you know, maybe taken risks or, you know, carried out a transaction to make money on that. A windfall can happen where, RJ, I love that. Excellent. So for, okay, in business, Thor Ragnarok is making a killing in the box office. Yeah, in the box, you're making a killing, you're making a lot of money. I love that. Excellent example, RJ. Yeah, you're making a killing, you're making a lot of money. Exactly. I've got to go see that movie actually. My brother's been, I think my sister's been with her boys, so I've got to go see that. In fact, I told my husband we're going to see that this weekend. Would you recommend it, RJ? I must do, but perfect analogy, lovely. In Argentina, oh Claudia, Argentina, just the politicians make a killing. All right, we won't go into politics, shall we? But I get what you mean, yes. So you make a killing in a particular market, or with a particular product. Yeah, that's true. So very good. Excellent, RJ. I love all your examples here. Very good. So that's it. We've got these 10 fantastic idioms that you will see a lot of in business English regularly, and all of it related to the military. But can you see this thread, this theme this theme that keeps going through in business with the military? It is so connected in that sense. Guys, you've been wonderful. I hope this lesson has been useful in introducing you to the connection between the military and business, because there's just so much there. Now, I'd love to know, in your own language, do you have similar metaphors and idiomatic expressions that link business to, the language of business to the language of military? I'd love to know in your language whether that's the same as in English, because it'd be fascinating to know. Do let me know in the chat box. But in the meantime, I hope you've enjoyed this lesson. Plenty we've covered. Thank you so much for your fantastic contributions and great examples. And I can really see that you know how to use these idiomatic expressions and that metaphorical language. That's wonderful. I will be adding the link to that post so you can see more examples of how I put it in that post. I will also add the link on how to join the EWAT community, so don't forget. And also, if you join the EWAT community, you will then know about my business writing to fluency online program, the small group program, only 10 people, and I've only got 3 spots left, so you've got to join it now. Otherwise, that's it. And because I won't be doing this program until the new year. And this program is fantastic. I'm already seeing on the online forum, my members only forum, the members are already interacting. They're sharing their experiences. And it's a great way for you to interact with your fellow EWATers and also to get personalized coaching from me, because that's exactly what I want to do with you. Great, RJ, I'm so glad you managed to you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for your contribution. Thank you, Jen. Good night. Hope you sleep well. Thank you, Flora. I hope you enjoyed it. Chavi, thanks. And I hope you join the English with a Twist community, Chavi, because I know you're interested in the group. Maybe you will join a BWTF, Business Writing to Fluency Lab. In the meantime, see you next week, Wednesday, the 22nd of November, for lesson 45. Do let me know if there are any particular topics you want me to cover, because I would gladly do so, and then we can discuss it together. But thank you so much for your contribution. Take care. Ciao for now. This is me, Shanti Kumaraswamy Street, saying bye for now. Hey, what have you just said? We got such exam. Kickback off the cannon and money given for favor. Interesting. Wow, that's interesting. Okay, great. Chavi, I don't do academic writing. I do business writing. But, so you might have to look at other areas for that. Okay, great. Thank you so much. I better leave you guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for contributing. Thank you for being great fellow EWATers. See you next week. Ciao for now, guys. Take care. Ciao.